Right, so
begins.
draft has begun. Yeah, as I said, Grace or Lyra may be banned, but I mean, there's not a lot of emphasis put on Baron, but he's still seen as one of the strongest heroes in most regions. So you can't completely draft just ignoring Baron, and there we go. They're going to ban him away. He has seen games where Baron's not been picked or banned the entire game, but they just, if you don't know how to counter it, or you don't want to try and counter it, just ban it away. That's not a problem. And Dargio hasn't been seen like at all. That's a really interesting ban. What do you think from that one, Luxuria?
Personally, I'm not too sure myself because Adagio, although he has been picked for some games, but it hasn't been a really good pick overall. Granted, if you're running like double hue comp, we actually saw that from the side of let me think. Popeyes, I think, when they ran a double hill comp together with that of Grace, in the early game they definitely did like pull off some early game pressure and did take some objectives. But then at the end of it all, I think it was Elite 8 that actually managed the backdoor and just win them after all. So I do understand that Adagio picked out, although Adagio is not exactly very meta right now. So we actually do see Popeyes picking up that Fox. I'm not surprised if Infamous actually do go back, and I'd rather just go falling back on that of Idris, because Idris is just so strong at this point in time without that of Baron.
Yeah, Idris is a fantastic box counter, so they're going to pick it up. If you don't pick Idris straight away, it's going to get banned away from you almost certainly. And now they basically are going to think, what do we not want to play against? What are they going to synergize with that box? They might ban away the Glaive. That'd be a good decision, because Glaive Vox is a quite good combination. You can keep your Vox really safe against that Idris. Or they might ban away Batiste, because Idris is quite well countered by Batiste. If he lands the Ordained on you and Vox gets outside of that range, you can be poked down so much by the Vox that it almost forces you to buy defense, which you kind of don't want to do on Idris. You want to go 4 damage items and only an Aegis, so you can burst down the Vox and then try and have an Aegis to survive the other Crystal Power carry that's there. They're taking a bit of time to think about this. They might also ban away Lyra, ban away those 2 healers, and try and pick up Grace themselves to get the only healer left.
Yep, definitely. I do agree with you. I'm not surprised if the side of Infamous actually just go, oh, they actually opted for the Grumpjaw ban. Grumpjaw hasn't been seen, hasn't been played a lot at least, but when played, Grumpjaw is one of those heroes that, you know, you really need that tension bow into your first Tyrant's Monaco, or even just a tension bow alone. You can be really, really aggressive, but you know, honestly, just looking at a Grumpjaw ban, it is kind of weird for me, because Grumpjaw do not quite pose a threat to Idris, or maybe just other heroes they are going to pick out to complete their comp on the side of Infamous.
I've got a feeling that Infamous want to pick a lot of the meta heroes, so they banned away 2 heroes that just aren't in the meta at the moment. So now they're thinking maybe we can pick them up. Taka, an alright counter to Vox, a really good counter to Baron, but they banned Baron away. Taka's one of those heroes where if you know how to play Taka well, you can be so annoying that people just don't want to play against your Taka. So that might be why it's banned away. I'd love to see Grace picked up here. Grace Idris, good combination, and I suppose you could flex Grace and Jungle. Yeah, they're going to pick it up. To counter this, Batiste again is really good against Idris and helps against Grace. They're very, very likely to pick up a full dive comp with Grace and Idris together. So they're going to go Lyra instead to counter that dive. Yeah, with the Bright Ball Walk. They still could pick the Batiste as Crystal Jungle. Still think it'd be a great idea, but they might want to go for Samuel instead to try and kite away. Samuel, a good first pick jungler, because you're not countered by that many heroes. They might pick Celeste because they've had to attack, and that would also make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I'm not surprised if they actually do go for Samuel. I think we have not seen a lot of Samuel plays recently, but whenever a Samuel is being brought out by any teams, he put up a really good performance, in fact, in the later game when, you know, he can constantly stay in his Drifting Dark. But then again, one of the more reliable Samuel checks is actually that of Glaive, and Glaive hasn't been picked up yet. So we are going to go into a restart for the draft. So far, we saw a Baron, a Darjo, Grumpjaw, and Taka being banned out. And on the side of Popeyes, we have Vox and Lyra being picked out. And on the side of Infamous, we have Idris and Grace. We are waiting for the last 2 final picks from the side of Popeyes and Infamous. So, like I said earlier on, if they actually do go for that, Samuel, then, you know, I'm not surprised if the side of Infamous actually do go for that Grace, for that Glaive, or even the Batiste pickup. So honestly, I'm quite looking forward. I'm quite looking forward to the games so far, because I mean, just look at the draft alone, it is kind of even. Both sides have got their own pros and cons, and both teams so far are looking quite great. It is just going down. It will just go down to the final picks to complete their comps. So
yeah, I'd say that Idris is actually countering Box quite a bit if Idris plays well, but then again Lyra is countering Idris quite well. Or Koshka is very risky. If they pick Batiste here, that should probably be the superior draft for Infamous. Batiste just counters Koshka's Pouncy Fun and Yummy Cat Frenzy so hard with both his Ordained and his Fearsome Shade. If you fear Koshka while she's trying to stun someone, she'll be stop stunning, or you can cancel the ult with that. So that'd be a great pick. They can't pick the Grump Jewel because they banned that away from themselves to try and counter this Koshka. So they either have to go for an early game hero like Rye, would be really risky, but could work to try and stop the Koshka early game. But yeah, I think Batiste is the obvious option, and they probably are going to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, Batiste is the only intelligent choice at this point in time. Not the only intelligent choice per se, but it kind of hard counters that of Koshka. I mean, in the early game, we know Koshka is really strong, but just one Ordained from Koshka kind of stunts Koshka's early game's prowess. So I'm not surprised if Infamous actually do go for this Batiste pickup, but there is one more pickup that I think they might actually go for, and that might actually be that of Glaive. I've been talking a lot about Glaive because Infamous hasn't quite played a lot of Glaives so far in the series we've been witnessing as of since last week. I think for week 2 and week 3, Infamous haven't been picking up Glaive. They are actually taking their time, and draft is actually restarting, so that is that. So Batiste or Glaive personally, but then Glaive you get countered by that of Lyra because of Bright Bulwark and your Afterburn. And if you actually do go for the utility Glaive, I mean, you are gonna pill a lot for that of Idris, and you can just allow Idris to go in really, really deep and take out the only carry from the side of Popeyes, and that would be Vox. Because Koshka in the later game just do not deal that much of a damage after all. I mean, but then again, the next intelligent choice, the only intelligent choice at this point in time, like you said, it is that Batiste, and he's just one of those really strong heroes. It picked into a comp that's just really weak to him, and Batiste, like I think you've mentioned just yesterday, and in fact we've been saying that too often, that Batiste is one of those heroes that's really difficult to counter no matter what comp he's up against. And only reason is because Ordained is such a huge CC. It traps an entire team, or rather just one hero of the team, in one tiny space, and it disallowed dash like that of Lyra's Bright Bulwark. But just the Fearsome Shade itself is quite a threat as well when Batiste reaches the level 6.
Yeah, the Ordained basically works. It takes the main reason why people pick Arden for that gauntlet that can trap the entire enemy where they don't want to be, and it puts it on a 12-second cooldown. And that's why he seems so much use, because he can do that. He has the really hard CC, and then if you play him correctly, you can get 800, 900 damage on a bad mojo if you're empowered. So you combine the utility of Arden's Gauntlet with the damage of a Crystal Kestrel, and obviously you're going to be squishy, but then you have Soul Fragments which will heal you if you get a little bit low and you're not empowered. So hopefully they're going to get through the draft. I don't think there was much else they should go. They might go for a comfort pick instead of going for that Batiste. They're going to go for the Crystal Black Feather. I think that's not the best draft position to be in, because Crystal Black Feather's so weak in the early game. He needs to get a Shatterglass and pick up a couple of items before he does much damage on Crystal Power. Unless we see Weapon Black Feather and Crystal Idris. I doubt it though. And so Koshka has a really good chance to invade this Black Feather in the early game and just take him down. So it's going to be risky. They still can pull it off if Koshka doesn't win the early game. Obviously, Crystal Black Feather will outscale her pretty quickly, but they're going to have to not lose the early game.
Yeah, then again, the Crystal Black Feather pickup on the side of Infamous is kind of iffy, because like you said, just CP Black Feather alone, firstly, your first power spike is when you hit your level 8, and that is when your on point is overdrive, and you can actually outpoke a lot of other heroes out there. But then again, the comp coming out from the side of Popeyes, it's not a lot of poking, and as a CP Blackfeather, you can't quite go in before you actually get them really low, because that is not how you kind of work. You have to poke them with it on point till they get to a certain extent or other health, and then you go in with your Feint of Heart or even Rose Offensive. Problem is that there is a Lyra there, and you are going to waste a charge of Rose Offensive if you are going to use that to enter the Bright Bulwark or even escape from Lyra's Bright Bulwark. So that is a problem. Yeah,
you can't use his Rose Offensive when you're inside the Bright Bulwark. It doesn't allow you to, because even though it will block it will block the snare. It will block any abilities, but because it's a movement ability, the Bulwark actually stops Blackfeather being able to use his Rose Offensive from inside the Bulwark. You need to use your reflex block or something in order to be able to use it. So Lyra is so good into Blackfeather, but maybe not as good into Crystal, because the main damage he has is from his on point. He just Rose Offensives to finish off kills. I think we're going to see what Uni's going to build on this Blackfeather. He is going to go Crystal. So yeah, as you said, it's all about waiting to level 6, get his Rose Offensive, level 8, get the overdrive on his on point. And if he hasn't lost the jungle by then, they can start turning the fights around, and Shiggy will be almost useless in late game with this Koshka.
Yep, definitely. But then we've actually seen Chingy on this Koshka before, and they actually did manage to win the late game when Chingy actually just went for the Aftershock, Broken Myth, and then started tanking up for the late game and just allowing Aeon on Vox to just poke from the backlines. I mean, Tezza Boy on this Lyra is a really good pick. I personally think so, because of how much you actually deter people from engaging, or the side of Infamous from engaging, because of your Bright Bulwark firstly, and the amount of sustain you provide at level 1 even till when Grace gets her Divine Intervention, your sustain is just much more and more reliable compared to that of Grace. So, personally, I really like the draft coming out from the side of Popeyes, but there's one thing that I do not like picked up, and that is actually the Koshka pickup, because they had so much more potential had they go for a Baptiste or even that of Samuel.
Yeah, now it looks like Koshka's going to try and take this Elder Tree, but Uni is there. Crystal Blackfeather, amazing at stealing objectives away. Shingy is going to back off, and we're going to have a ring around the Rosie. No one wants to tank it, no one wants to get booted, but Koshka has been booted. SNK going to dive in, and Koshka can't do anything while she's booted. What a kill for SNK on the Grace there. This boy's going to try and steal on the way, and SNK is going low to the tree, and Lyra's going to pick up the return kill, and that'll be Uni picking up the mid-tree, because we're low on energy, so Uni's going to try and chase this, but will not chase too far. He knows Koshka is up soon. So just going to get some poke on Tezboy, pop a scout trap, and just back off. He's going to actually go in a little bit deep on Tezboy, and that's the Imperial Sigil back up again. He'll be nice and healthy. Uni with the Feint of Heart, diamond, one turret shot, and now going to get some poke, almost killing Tezboy, and now probably is going to rotate to his jungle. Koshka's going to try and do the same, so there may be another engage. Uni knows she's in there, misses the on point, doesn't get that barrier. She's going to pick up a kill of her own. Very good for Shingy there, despite getting booted by the mid-tree in the early on. She's going to pick up the mid and probably back to Blackfeather, and he won't be able to do much about it. He's going to have to boots if he wants to contest this, but then he's facing a Koshka.
Yep, definitely. I mean, we did say earlier on that, Koshka is just so much stronger as compared to a Crystal Blackfeather in the early game, and it's quite proven. Had Chingy not been rooted or overstayed in that particular fight around the Elder Tree, and then Chingy would probably be able to take down Uni on this Blackfeather, because honestly we saw the amount of damage coming out from Chingy when he actually went in for the Blackfeather after Chingy has respawned. So they are still fighting for that tree.
Uni tries to sneak in, Shingy thinking Shingy beat her backs, but Shingy actually got the mid-tree, so Uni has not got that healing, and the Imperial Sigil is going to come out. Shingy doesn't even need it. Just so much damage on Koshka, as you expect in the early game, and that's going to be another mids and backs taken away from Blackfeather. Uni getting a little bit excited, thinking, oh, I know Koshka's gone to her back, so I can sneak this mid away, as I never go overextended personally. I'm fantastic now, I'm terrible, I always overextend. And yeah, he's now lost his mids and backs again. So probably should have just waited, taken the loss of not having that farm, and just got it the second time. But Koshka's doing well, about a 1k gold lead. Popeyes and Chingy's going to rotate back to her jungle again, or maybe look up for a gank on Idris. And that Aeon going very low. Uni actually got there first in that state of jungle. But then again, Uni is going very low. Koshka level 5, not quite with the Yummy Cat Defensive available. And Shingy again knows the timers on Blackfeather's farm because she keeps taking it. So they're going to look for Blackfeather, but it's probably going to rotate down to the jungle or up to Getty. Getty stop that barrier for the Shroud Step with a nice pouncing fun. Koshka Getty very low, going to try and farm up to get nice and healthy. And actually, Koshka ported home to Blackfeather will secure his jungle for this third rotation, which is very good for him. He needs to not get behind. But Koshka is going to clear her own farm now, and everyone's backing it.
Yeah, I really like the Heavy Prism picked out on Koshka because although the Koshka, like we know, Chingy has been playing Koshka, going for the Aftershock and Broken Myth build, but then becoming early Heavy Prism actually kind of scales you better in the early game. So Koshka just reached level 6, and then Yummy Cat and Frenzy is actually available for Koshka right now. I'm expecting to see more gangs coming out from Chingy on this Koshka.
Yeah, you hardly ever see a reset block when Koshka's level 6, and there's Getty gonna just die. He's not gonna be able to do anything. As I said, Koshka can rotate up with the Yummy Cat Defensive and will get a kill, because if Aeon has spoiled there, bots can just stand, basic attack, Lara gets as much damage as she can, and Shingy does do quite a lot of damage with her Yummy Cat Defensive, and actually Aeon is tanking this turret, so they're gonna have to back off and not be able to dive it. Shingy again, gonna pop that scout trap, but gonna get the farm. And just back off. Good from Shingy. I expect to see blocks coming out from Idris. Maybe not Uni. Once he gets to that Rose offensive, he will be able to block it with his ultimate. Koshka's ult has such a long cast time that you're generally able to block it with a Blackfeather ult. It's not easy to do, but I expect Uni will be well practiced in doing it. And Idris similarly can block it with Shimmer Strike. It's quite fun to try that on Idris. You take the damage from Yummy Cat Defensive, but you're not stunned if you block it with Shimmer Strike. And so Koshka's locked in that animation. It's similar to if Gwen skedaddles out of Koshka's stun. And that's going to be Shingy going in, ultimate not for another 2 seconds. Blackfeather's going to go in and lovely stun on Koshka. As soon as that Rose offensive comes down, she uses that ult. And so much damage from Aeon onto Idris. That is a poison shiv and a piercing spear on Aeon. They're going to dive SNK for the ace, and they will pick it up. Fox getting that kill with the wait for it. Well played from Popeyes. So Shingy waiting for Blackfeather to use his Rose offensive to get on top of Aeon. Immediately using that Yummy Cat Defensive. Knew he didn't have a reflex block. Turret will fall, but Boy did trade his life to make sure Aeon and Shingy stayed alive.
Yeah, just early on this game, and then we see the pros of a Koshka going up against a CP Blackfeather, and we the side of Popeyes is actually sitting at a comfortable 3k gold lead. Or early on it was 3,000 gold lead. Now it's like 2,500 gold lead. Another fight might actually be coming up. Nope, they are going to reset. They are just going to fall back. So we actually do see Chingy. Just looking at items from Chingy. Chingy actually has an Aftershock, and then a Heavy Prism, hopefully going into a Broken Myth very, very soon. And then on the side of Uni, just comparing the junglers alone, on the side of Uni, he is sitting on a Shatter Glass, and he just recently picked up the tier 1 crystal item. What's that?
Crystal Bit.
Crystal Bit, right? Yeah, there you go. So, and no reflex block seen on Uni yet. Granted, you have your Rose Offensive. You can Rose Offensive away whenever Chingy tries to get onto you. But then, as a Crystal Blackfeather, you are using a Rose Offensive really just, to finish up kills and just to clean up, and your on point is your main source of damage. So, honestly, I don't know. I don't think the side of Infamous will have a hard time in the later game, of course. But the side of Popeyes must actually start to snowball at this point in time, because we saw a lot of witnesses from a lot of Koshkas or Koshka's team based games is that they got the early game lead. They kind of just run over and just basically muck the opponent of their jungle, their turrets, and what have you not. But then they kind of fall off in the later game because they lose the amount of pressure they can apply in the later game, and they just kind of slack off and just chill and relax. So I really hope to see the side of Popeyes actually just putting in a lot of pressure at this point in time.
And the guy's going to use his... He's going to go in, but you see the Yummy Cat Defensive with no block to stop it. He's just going to try and stun Shingy out, but it's not quite going to happen. And that is a nice Divine Defense, and that's the Echo used by SNK. Divine Defense is going to come again. Uni is going to survive it, get another heal. Shingy diving turrets. Gonna try and go through like open passes to get out. Maybe not. Just gonna walk out the tight range. Uni doing a lot of damage on this Crystal Power Blackfeather. He's hit level 8. Shingy's gonna do a greedy port, get away in that bush, and Aeon just gonna back off, low on energy. So.
Double kill.
That means that Popeyes really can't push this. Aeon and Hezbollah are going to try, but it's so hard to push Charlie with just a Vox with that short range. He's going to try and get some damage on to begin. Triple Atlas by Tezzerboy. And Aeon is actually not Atlas. Now Gosh goes back up. He's going to fall to this current explosion. The Uni is going to die as well. We're going to get some of the Yummy Candy Frenzy. He's not going to block it, and that'll be Spaghetti falling. Popeyes are going to take this game properly. Kraken is going to fall to that turret explosion. So Popeyes don't care, they're just going to tank the turret themselves. Tezzerboy going to give the heal. SNK doing what she can, but not only Nova is blocked, Atlas dodged, and that'll be SNK going into the Sanctuary. Shingy chasing it, Pox is going to get the kill. Ace for Popeyes, and that is game 1. Koshka taking the early game, pushing it to the late game, and just winning. So well played to Popeyes.
Yeah, I think what happened was that just Popeyes understood, the strengths and weaknesses of Koshka. We were kind of doubting, the Koshka pickup on the side of Popeyes. Only reason because Koshka in general just falls out so badly into the late game, and the side of Infamous just has got a better late game comp. So anyways, it is good game. It is well played from the side of Popeyes, I must say, because they understood, their heroes' weaknesses and then the strengths as well, and they played to their strengths. They just made sure to snowball. They made sure to continuously put pressure onto Infamous so that Infamous would not have any breathing spaces. I mean, in the early game itself, we saw a few kills getting exchanged here and there, but then just looking at Chingy's KDA, he's sitting on 11, 3, and 9. So just imagine the amount of work Chingy put in on this Koshka and Koshka just went in for the key targets, and that Infamous just for some odd reason couldn't even block out a lot of the Yamiket and Frenzy, and that was what was the deciding factor of Popeyes' win.
And the fact that there were 2 Atlas Pauldrons, one on Tezzerboy, one on Shingy, means that both Spaghetti and Uni pretty much relied on attack speed once they wanted to dive in. Because Crystal Blackfeather needs to get those Heartthrob stacks if he wants to do a lot of damage with his Fate of Heart. And obviously Idris so reliant on attack speed that an Atlas just counters him really well. So they kind of have to block the Atlas Pauldron, especially Spaghetti. And so then that leaves the Yamiket and Frenzy not with a block available. And SNK didn't have a Crucible, so he couldn't block it himself because he went for that Echo second item, then got an Atlas and was working towards a Crucible, but it already got to late game and he didn't have one. So Popeyes could do. No, I'm fine. I didn't need to sneeze. And so SNK couldn't pick up the Crucible in time, so Shingy could keep landing that Yummy Candy Frenzy.
Yeah, definitely. And there was just really good play from the side of Popeyes in general. They allowed Vox to farm up for the later game. And, Vox, it's almost at full item without that Aegis. And honestly, that Aegis wasn't all that important as well because Uni was the main target and Uni was falling behind. Just look at the CS alone. We have Chingy sitting at 98 CS as compared to Uni's 62 CS. And Spaghetti sitting at 149, although more than Aeon, just Spaghetti couldn't hard carry without, a proper dive from the side of Infamous. Just look at the team comps and the fight so far that we've seen coming out from the side of Infamous. Their biggest weakness was that they couldn't hard engage on anyone on the side of Popeyes. I understand if the side of Popeyes went for a mage or so and, the side of Infamous can actually outpoke them, or not outpoke them, but could poke them with on point on Uni. But however, Popeyes actually went for a really divey comp, like that of Lyra, who can actually arcane passage in and just Atlas Powder on all 3, or if not, then just boots in. And then we have Chingy who can just go in, jump in, and just soak up a lot of damage coming out from the side of Infamous, and then just deal out the Atlas Pauldron on all three. Like we saw earlier on in a lot of fights, Atlas Pauldron was casted on all three members of Infamous, and it was just a really sad day for Infamous for that matchup, for every fight, in fact, because it is just Infamous's lack of dive.
Yeah, definitely, and it's one of the good ways to counter a dive-heavy comp is go for a composition that wants to dive into them. And with someone like a Koshka, they can't just ignore the fact that Koshka's dived onto them and try and dive onto Vox, because you're going to die to Koshka if you don't try and run away from her or try and kill her first. So it's just a Blackfeather couldn't, in a couple of team fights, they could dive onto Vox, kill him first, and then try and wipe out Koshka. But in general, they couldn't, because there was a Lyra and a Koshka in their way. And they just, if you try to ignore them, you're going to die. If you try and kill them, then you're going to trade, and Vox is going to be left alone. And then if you leave Vox alone, that's the main carry of their composition that you're not trying to kill. So It was well played from Popeyes. They drafted quite well. They knew that it was going to be a dive comp coming out, and so they picked their own dive hero to try and counter it. But I'm sure Infamous won't be too disappointed with their draft, but I think it was more well played from Popeyes than poorly played from Infamous, because there's not a lot you can do early game as Crystal Blackfeather against Koshka. He was only out of position maybe once, and so Koshka just doing extremely well. And they put the team fights at the right time. They knew when Grace was weakest, which is at level 6 compared to at level 8 compared to Lyra's level 8. And they picked team fights then, and they didn't play into Infamous's win condition. They played into their own.
But honestly, I think it really went down to drafting, the draft between Popeyes and Infamous. And, the side of Popeyes is drafted so much better. Although Koshka was kind of an iffy pick. Like we were saying, that Koshka was such an iffy pick because, they actually have to, know how to snowball and play with the strengths of Koshka. But, overall, Popeyes actually put up a really good and awesome showing of how, Koshka should be played. And just Chingy alone just kind of knew how and the limitations of Koshka and just know the strength and just played well.
Yeah, played to how Koshka should be played and didn't let Blackfeather get farmed up, didn't let the game get towards late game where she knew Koshka wouldn't be very effective. But I believe that the draft is ready. So Luxuria, would you like to take us into this one?
All right, sure. So without further ado, let's go into the draft.
Draft begins.
Now we have Infamous on Team A. I don't think they should ban away the Koshka. Obviously, it was very strong, but I think they could counter it if they don't pick such late game scaling heroes and they don't pick double dive. They'll be fine. They should be fine against Koshka. I think they might ban away the Vox or the Lyra because they obviously lost the last game against those three heroes. So it makes sense to just ban one of them away, so you're not facing the same composition 2 games in a row.
Yep, definitely. I'm not surprised if Infamous actually would ban out this Lyra, because Lyra was just put up such a good show in the previous game with the amount of healing coming out as compared to Grace's when her ult is only at level 1. So Infamous is actually going for that Sky ban that we've seen very often coming out from Infamous.
Yeah, they probably want to pick up Catherine because that's the go-to hero. If you want to pick Catherine, you want to ban Sky, and they're going to ban Arden again. Popeye's just saying no, Baron is not being played. We're going to first ban it in these first 2 games. So I would expect Catherine because they did ban the Sky, but maybe they just banned the Sky to make them think they were going to pick Catherine. So they could pick like a Vox or a Lyra. I think Catherine would be a really good option here.
Yeah, although we did say that Idris is such a good counter into Vox for the late game, but then honestly, in the previous game, I don't think that Vox was, or rather for that game, it was really just Chingy putting in a lot of work. So honestly, I don't think the side of Infamous would actually pick up that Vox because they've not quite seen to play Vox for a lot. So we actually do see the side of Popeyes picking up that Vox instead. Oh
yeah, Popeyes, same as last game. They want to pick the Vox. They decide that even though they kind of got countered by Idris, they managed to play well around it. Vox manages to kite away really well. He actually picked up Journey boots quite early on when Idris and Blackfeather only had sprint boots, only had tier 1, and so that was really helpful for him to just kite away from them. He had boots up far more often than them. with Vox being picked up, they should ban the Idris because you're very unlikely to pick it yourself. They might want to ban away Blackfeather actually. Blackfeather goes really well into Vox. They're going to ban Taka again. The same bans from Popeyes. They want to ban Baron, they want to ban Taka, and so they're going to get rid of it before Infamous really have a chance to pick it up, because you don't want to first pick Taka, and if they first ban Baron, you can't pick it. So Popeyes know what they want to play, and they're just going to ban it away every game.
Yep, definitely. We are actually going to see Alara being banned out, and on the side of Popeyes, we are going to see a Grace being picked up. Like we saw earlier on, it's just that
Grace is risky against Catherine, isn't she? Because Catherine is such a good Grace counter to play. Right?
Yep, definitely, and that is why I'm like low-key laughing right now, because we saw Grace in that game. Granted, Grace has got a sustain without Alara, so Grace is the only sustaining hero at this point in time for this draft at least. But then again, like you said, and I think a lot of people agree with us that Catherine is such a good counter. Catherine is just such a good counter into Grace. Especially in the early and in fact into the later game, because of how even if you're channeling your ulti or divine intervention, it's either you burn a reflex block to successfully channel it. If not, then you actually do just risk getting merciless pursued by that of Catherine. So honestly, the Grace pickup into the Catherine is kind of iffy, but then we saw Popeyes picking up a Koshka in the previous game and played it well. So I'm not surprised if they can pull this Grace off, but it's highly unlikely going into this Catherine.
Yeah, you've got to play your Grace kind of not how you want to, because if you want to play Grace whenever your carry is going to dive in, you cast your divine intervention because you know they're going to get low. But you also have to wait. You have to wait until Catherine has used Mercy's Pursuit, then you can cast your divine intervention. So it's kind of like if Catherine just saves that stun, then that means Grace will have to. Grace is waiting for Catherine, Catherine's waiting for Grace, and then someone dies, and Grace is like, "Oh, I meant to heal you, but I couldn't because Catherine was just standing next to me, ready to stun me out whenever I start it."
Yeah.
I suppose he could use the Echo just to get that one heal off, but again, it's not really worth it. With Taka banned, they pick up Celeste. Makes a lot of sense. That Taka, the main counter, has gone, and I don't see why they wouldn't pick Idris or Blackfeather to counter this Vox here.
Yep, I think they are going to go for the Idris. I think Idris is this better pickup overall going into this Blackfeather, into this Vox. But honestly, there's one thing about the Grace that I must say is that, your Holy Nova, granted, you cause an AoE stun, it's just that the space or the area, we are actually going to see a Ringo being picked up on the side of Infamous. So, that is a rather unique pickup coming out from the side of Infamous, only because Ringo is oftenly played into Baron with the CP Ringo, as oftenly showed by Elite 8, just so they can counter that Baron. But then there was one game that it actually failed. So honestly, Ringo is kind of new pickup. I'm not even sure, because Ringo used to be really good against Vox in the early game. Yeah, but then with a lot of changes and the attack speed nerf on a lot of the heroes, or rather the bug fix, the attack speed bug fix on so many heroes out there, Ringo has kind of fallen into a sub-tier kind of carry and just doesn't perform that well. So I'm expecting Spaghetti or maybe even Uni Spaghetti on this Ringo, and then we'll have Uni on that Celeste. So I'm expecting a lot of carrying coming out from. Okay, so we are going to see another Koshka pickup. Probably Ching is going to be on it, and Koshka is going to give Celeste a hell of a time.
It makes a lot of sense from Popeyes. They I said that Infamous needs to ban away Vox, Koshka, or Lyra. They banned away the Lyra, but they left open the Grace, which is just a Lyra substitute, a slightly less utility version of Lyra. She has the stun from Holy Nova is not anywhere near as useful as Lyra's Bulwark, but the heal is arguable. We've talked about that so much that I'm sure Popeyes are going to be happy with the fact that they've basically got the same draft. They've got their Vox, Koshka, and a healer, and they're basically going into a very, very similar comp. They're going against a late game scaling Crystal Power jungler and a weapon power laner who's an all right counter to Vox, but not great into Koshka. No block on Ringo, unlike if they went Gwen to try and count if they thought Koshka could be picked. And no stun on Ringo to get rid of Koshka's ult. Ringo should beat Vox in the late game. Ringo should destroy Vox, has a bit more range and can out-damage him. Again, if we get to late game, I don't think Ringo's going to be the problem. It's going to be Celeste. So, again, again about execution, and I trust Popeyes to be able to pull this off with that Koshka as they did in the last game.
Yep, definitely. I mean, I am looking at Popeyes right now, and I think their com look like the better com overall as compared to that of Catherine, Celeste, and Ringo. I mean, Ringo used to be like several patches back, like I think 1,000 patches back or something, when Ringo used to be so good against Vox in the early game. And there was this very common com where you have like an Arden or a Catherine or basically a random roamer with, or maybe even Fortress, and then you have a Koshka and then a Ringo. And then you kind of can own the early game and just push for the win, just sub 11 minutes or sub 12 minutes. But then even now, Ringo is in this weird spot at this point in time. He does not get great into a lot of other weapon carries. And in the early game, he kind of falls. He kind of falters as well, so I'm not sure. Oh, we are actually gonna see Uni on this Ringo and then Spaghetti on the Celeste, and not the other way around, like I said earlier on. It is quite an interesting pickup, or rather, it is an interesting pickup coming out from the side of Infamous, opting for this Ringo and not for that Idris. Although Idris kind of rocky in the early game, but I still personally think that Idris is such a better pickup, a much more better pickup as compared to that of Ringo for the late game. So anyways, we are jumping into the folds right now. We are seeing Grace going in really deep against Spaghetti.
Grace just doing Grace things. Grace has such high movement speed. Spaghetti should get that easily with a supernova, but such high movement speed and just base damage that because Grace generally tends to pick up tier 1 sprint boots, she can just run away. No one can catch her. SNK has the boots to even keep up with Grace, and then once you try and catch her, she just uses her benediction and runs away. You need to try and rotate down, but he sees Ziggy and run. Under turret, she can get a diamond turret, he's going to take another turret shot, and that'll be first blood going over, but Koshka does trade her life. Aeon's going to cap it with that, but Tensor Boy is actually going to fall here. SNK not going to beat that one up. It looks like Tensor Boy may have some connection issues. But, yeah, maybe just. I think Tensor Boy just knew he was dead, not going to get away there.
So I think that's why he's just stood there. But honestly, we are seeing rather. Oh, there is a pause coming out. So just to explain to the viewers, each team, or rather per match, we do actually have a 2 minutes pause per team, and a total of 4 minutes pause time per match. So anyone experiencing like technicalities issue or connectivity issues, inform the producers, and then we will go into a slight pause. So we saw just then it was a really slow pause because they probably thought that Tensor Boy was AFKing, but then I personally thought it was just Tensor Boy knowing that he could have gotten away anyways. So that's why he just stood there. But anyways, we are seeing Tensor Boy early game going into the opponent's jungle. Just harassing that of Celeste and whatnot. And we are seeing Tensor Boy just sitting there, not sure if it's for the ambient gold or.
She's going to go in onto Spaghetti. He's going to get them a lovely core collapse on that Celeste and sprint boots away. You cannot fight this Koshka. And that's going to be a lovely rotation from all 3 members of Infamous coming down to help Spaghetti. She doesn't know they're there, and that's a nice clear shot to slow her down. She's going to jump in on Spaghetti and just try and run away. Nice damage from Ringo. Will he get the kill? One more basic attack will do it, but Shingy too quick is going to get away. And Spaghetti is going to be happy with that. Manages to get her own jungle and leaves the back. It's actually going to rotate in to try and sneak a bit of Koshka's, which is so good for Celeste. If you can get some early game away from Koshka, you're going to be great. But she should know that rotations, so she's going to flare it out and lovely core collapse to stop Aeon from rotating down. Spaghetti going to risk trying to get the funds, but then back off smartly, just deciding that if I can get my own jungle, that's more than enough, and I'll scale to late game.
Yep, definitely. But then we are seeing now the side of Infamous actually just in response to this Koshka is that they are starting to rotate as a team just to deter Koshka from invading and causing any big damage like from the previous fight when Koshka was allowed to roam free and thus had the early game and then managed to push that into the later game as well. But then for now we are seeing just SNK coming down and Spaghetti here as well, and Chingy's taken down to half health just from one heliogenesis and a stun from SNK. So, you know, there you go. So you know, Infamous has got a response, has got an answer for this Koshka, and that is just going down to rotation and not hero pickup like we see a lot of other teams do.
Mingo's going to farm up in lane, he's going to stun by that Holy Nova. All three rotating up from Popeyes. Mingo trying to bomb up, that's a big wave that's going to fall under the turrets. That's probably going to pick most of it up. And that was well played from Shingy on Koshka. Just, if you can't win the jungle, then win the lane. You've got to win something early game as Koshka. And so Spaghetti doing well in the jungle to get his own farm. And everyone's rotating down to help her, to help Celeste. But now they rotate up to Uni, and Spaghetti wasn't quite there in time. Uni going to grab some Ambia because he lost quite a lot of jungle. Actually going to pick up the bats because Celeste took Ringo's lane, so Ringo's going to take Celeste back. It's a nice trade to keep both of them even on farm. Vox and Ringo very even. Celeste a little bit behind Koshka, but I'm sure she's absolutely fine with that.
Yep, definitely. So we are seeing that Chingy now isn't as rampagey as Chingy was in the previous game. So, you know, they are doing a really good job. Chingy might be jumping in.
The Yummy Frenzy is available. Shingy's going to have a look at the scoreboard. See, Celeste hasn't got a block. I'm probably going to use that Yummy Frenzy on her. Doesn't want to use it on Ringo. Ringo has got a reflex block.
Oh, you know what happened that fight was that there was a preemptive fountain that was popped.
Oh, there was.
Boy, yeah, and that was why I think the side of Popeyes actually decided to disengage, because Chingy might actually be going in, Uni taken really, really low. But they are just going to reset, and I saw like green things coming out from Tezza Boy into his carries, and I'm like, what was that? And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, oh, fountain, oh, that's a really nice fountain pop by Tezza Boy, you know, just causing Popeyes to just go back and fall back. You know, honestly, that fight, Chingy and the side of Popeyes could have actually just went in, although Fountain was popped. I mean, just seeing the damage onto Uni when Chingy actually just dived in with an empowered attack and a Pouncy Fun. So, you know, honestly, they could have taken one or two carries down, and they didn't quite need it, that Fountain at all if they actually decided to jump in. But then, you know, it's a clever decision to just back off after you've accidentally popped the Fountain. So that makes sense as well. They are all in lane right now, and Celeste is rotating up. They might actually be looking for another fight.
We're seeing Shatterglass first on Koshka. This is a build which is quite good against double squishy heroes, like against the Celeste and the Ringo. It works very well. And so Koshka going for that full out damage and not going for the aftershock proc damage. And you just wait for his farm, going to farm it nicely under turret. Chingy and Aeon just going to back off. Again, Celeste farming up well. She's not farming up extremely well. We've seen Celeste get level 8 around 6 minutes in. Spaghetti's just level 7 minutes in, just getting the farm that she needs to get towards the late game. She's going to use that Yummy Punch, but lovely cork out. So Celeste is blocked by Koshka, holding over Shingy, and SNK rotating down. Ringo's pushing the turret. Will that turret forward? It looks like Ringo's actually going to try and get it. I don't think Aeon now knows. Aeon's going to rotate up the lane. But Uni on this Ringo is probably going to get this turret. He's actually going to back off smartly. He doesn't want to give up the ace. So he's just going to run away. But he did get the turret down to about a third, about a quarter health. So a good fight from Popeyes, but they risked losing their turret if they didn't rotate up quite quickly. And there's Hellfire Brew. Just make sure Aeon backs off. But he was going to anyway. Yep,
definitely. That was a really good call collapse coming out from Spaghetti. It's just that there was a really good follow-up from the side of Popeyes as well, just backing Chingy up when Chingy decided to go in. So, and you know, the side of Infamous just didn't rotate fast enough. So, Chingy is going in for SNK.
Yeah, Uni decided that he wasn't going to rotate in time. He knew that, so he decided to get turret damage instead and force Popeyes to stop going in. And they're probably going to take a sentry down if Ringo hadn't pushed that turret. And so yeah, that's just if you're not gonna rotate in time, just do something else that's worth it. But Shingy with that infusion is now going to run in towards trying to get some damage on the turret or onto Ringo. But Uni farming up well, just sitting on 85 to Vox's 82. He's doing just as well as Vox is, because Vox can't pressure Ringo in the early game. He's really not going to be able to do that as Aeon rotates to shop. Spaghetti not going to spot him out. Going to spot him out herself, and Celeste picking up some minion candy, just trying to help this wave push in, and that'll be turret going down. That was Aeon rotating. I think it was spotted out by Celeste, but not quite. Ringo just not wanting to dive too deep to get the turret, just knowing that that turret is low means that he forces Aeon to just rotate up as quickly as possible. Otherwise, Ringo's going to take it without problem. And we see a breaking point Ringo, second item breaking point. That's interesting. We haven't seen breaking point like at all.
Yeah, I mean,
Ringo either, have we?
it is a really classic build. I mean, Sorrow Blade into Breaking Point, into Double Tyrant's Monocle. Maybe we'll be seeing that. That is a really classic build coming out from a lot of Ringos, or rather in the previous patch at least. I'm not sure if, or maybe a third item would be Tension Bow. Because, I mean, Tension Bow has been a rather staple pickup.
Yeah.
For a lot of weapon carries out there. It's just the initial burst and the weapon piercing coming out from Tension Bow that makes it superior and kind of cheap for what it provides as an item as well. And for the burst and the amount of stats that it provides from Tension Bow is just a much more worthy pickup. But then we may actually just see the traditional Ringo pickup. Oh.
Koshka diving in under turret, but what another core collapse from Celeste, and that's going to be boxed pretty much falling. Celeste has not got her ultimate, it was used. Aeon going to take that health over, but we'll be fine. There's going to be a turret going down for Infamous, they will not, Popeyes are not going to be able to stop it. Well played from Spaghetti on that Celeste, clearly, and that's going to be holding over. Going to get a double stun, but Vox does fall in the process. And Spaghetti, so, as you said, Spaghetti and Uni did swap. Spaghetti now going into the jungle on Celeste, but that's because Spaghetti has got such a comfort pick on the Celeste. He knows how to play Celeste so well. Like, those core collapses are just landing as they need to. It's really hard to stun the Koshka because she has such high movement speed, and when she gets that those empowered basic that she gets a nice bit of movement speed with that, and then Celeste landing like almost every single core collapse. As soon as Koshka tries to dive in, Celeste can just stop it, and now she's actually stunned. SNK can get a Mercy's Pursuit as well, and then Shingy's just not got much defense, especially on Celeste, so she's going to fall so quickly. Popeyes are going to try and push this turret as a return turret.
Yep.
Everyone's going to go in with a Holy Nova, and that's Koshka jumping in only on the turret. That's Solar Storm from Celeste. Shingy's going to dodge it. Well played from Shingy. Having a little look at Celeste. Where's that Solar Storm coming from? I'm going to dodge it with her walking up to top of the bush, but Popeyes going to back off. Happy to get the turret down to about a third health. And Infamous going to push in. They could possibly get a gold mine if they know that they are going to start it up. Do you reckon it will be contested?
No, I don't think so. I mean, the side of Popeyes can actually try to come, but then, ooh, I actually thought that Chingy might actually get it with the Twirly Death. Or was it Twirly what? Twirly Death, yeah. So yeah. I actually thought that Chingy might actually get it with the Twirly Death. But then sadly didn't happen. So, you know, honestly, Spaghetti, like we said, like a lot of times for Southeast Asia, we see really weird counters to certain comps, like that of picking Celeste into, say, Koshka, if you know the enemy is going to go into Koshka. And that is really because, like you said earlier on, it's just how comfortable Spaghetti is on this Celeste, and we saw a lot of really crucial and good core collapse coming out from Spaghetti. Yummy Cat and Frenzy coming in, and then immediately after, ooh.
That is the last time we're going to be blocked by Tensorboy. Lovely Crucible there, but Ringo just on Koshka doing far too much damage. And Koshka's going to fall. She's picked up her Atlas now, so needs to get that off onto Ringo. He's actually built a poison shiv to counter that creation. Tensorboy's going to get the Atlas onto Ringo. But turned out it's going to be put onto Vox. Both weapons back out. He's not doing much with Spaghetti. That turret is going to fall to the Heliogenesis. And Spaghetti happy to back off, pick up a little bit of Koshka's farm, and work towards probably an Eve of Harvest as a next item. Needs quite a bit of energy sustain with those two crystal power items without any energy sustain. Koshka just falling, and this is not what Popeyes wanted. They played Koshka extremely well in the last game, but she's not easy to pull off by any stretch. She needs to get to the point where she's just bullying in the early game, and a 2k gold deficit against the Celeste, and Ringo should beat Vox in the late game. So this time it's just Infamous being able to, Celeste is able to farm up so much better than Black Feather was in the last game. Celeste can clear her jungle really well, and she can also secure minions with Heliogenesis Supernova, because no one's going to steal it away from a Celeste when she gets Supernova. It's similar to Batiste when he is empowered. You're not going to steal a minion away from him. And so, yeah, and actually, Uni going to get this poke on Shingy. Shingy wants to get that Atlas off, and it will land onto Ringo. Corkcap's going to stun up Aeon as the Hellfire Brew onto Aeon. It's going to be blocked up by the Crucible. There's no block for the Blast Tremor. That's a lovely Solar Storm from Celeste. And there's the SNK going in. First Pursuit going to be blocked up by Shingy. Run Treasure going to be casted 400. Nice bit of heal there. Uni without the Mortal Wound applied to Koshka. Shingy going to jump in. Killing shot going to land. But Uni's not going to be able to do anything. 20 silver is used up. Shingy's going to wait. Spaghetti diving on. He's going to get booted by the Trin. That's horrible. And the Trin is not going to die, so that's still booted by Spaghetti. He's now going to pick it up. But Koshka falling to Uni. Koshka diving in at a good time. But obviously Koshka's going to be in range of Spaghetti and Uni. They didn't bother cutting away because they were rooted. So they just did as much damage as they could. Uni going to pick up this Trian. Get him nice and healthy on energy. And Atlas is actually blocked up. Nice block by Uni there. But they get back off, so Spaghetti taking a bit of damage from this Crystal Sentry, gonna kite it away, and that will be picked up by Ringo. I think Infamous gonna back off, yeah, port home, take the win, take the winning team fight, and just get ready for the next one.
Like we said earlier on, Chingy is not like, I mean, he was really good on this Koshka in just the previous game alone, but then I see what is wrong now, and it's really just due to the rotations coming out from the side of Popeyes, from the side of Infamous actually. They are rotating in 3 when Chingy tried or attempted the early game invade. We did see Tazzaboy going in to steal like the backs of Spaghetti, and that is understandable because, like you said, Grace has got such high movement speed, and she can just get away. And then we saw Chingy attempted attempted a steal in the later part of the game, but then failed because the side of Infamous is rotated so much better as compared to that coming out from Popeyes. And even if they do not actually like pull their rotation off, we actually saw Uni just going in for the objective when you know he understands that he couldn't rotate in time as well. So you know they really know how to split their what's that called? They really know how to split their
focus,
split their focus, and then understand that, you know, if they cannot get certain things done, how about we try this other thing as well. So and I see that is why that, you know, Koshka is just not kind of working out for the side of Popeyes in this game.
Yeah, I think the fact that they picked Ringo instead of Idris was a really good decision from Infamous, because the way they were going to play this is they were going to rotate as a full team. They were going to rotate. Ringo's going to rotate down to try and help Celeste whenever she got in trouble. Idris cannot do that in the early game, because if Idris rotates down, he misses all of his minions because he has absolutely horrible farm clear. Whereas Ringo, with slightly better farm clear in the at least in the early game, he can clear that wave, come down while Vox is trying to clear his wave, and won't lose too much compared to what an Idris would lose. So yeah, he's actually farming extremely well considering how much he rotated down. And 181, 16 minutes in. Hellfire Brew is going to be used on Aeon actually. Will not be blocked, so Aeon's probably going to pick up this mid Trian just to keep him nice and healthy. And yep, that's a Hellfire Brew down for Ringo, just used as probably to bait a reflex block. It didn't quite work out. But now Infamous looking to fight. They're in a good position there, 3k gold ahead. And Koshka was starting to fall off with only one. She had the same build around 10 minutes in. That's going to be a mercy pursuit on Catholic. Koshka's going to get the Atlas, is going to go onto Ringo. It wasn't blocked. Jump Cannon Frenzy is not available to be blocked. And that's going to be Celeste just killing Fox so quickly on the backline. Uni actually going to survive with no problem. That was core collapse stopping them from disengaging the Tensor Boy. Spaghetti is so comfortable on the Celeste, and Koshka can't kill Uni at this point. He's got a full Aegis, Uni fully built, and it's just Koshka's already fallen off. So it's just Infamous. I don't see Popeyes turning this around unless Infamous get caught out in a bad position.
Yeah, I mean, even the anchor turret is going down and being pushed by minions at this point in time. So Kraken might actually just have one, or rather 2 crystal turret to push down. And, you know, honestly, if the side, I mean, just look at Koshka's build. Like you said, Koshka's been sitting the same old items just 5 minutes ago as compared to now. The only damaging item on in Koshka's kit right now is actually just the Shatter Glass. Had Koshka actually just opted to go for the Aftershock into the Broken Myth like she did in the previous game, she might actually have a chance, but understanding the fact that they couldn't, a fight might actually be happening right now. Okay, Uni is taken down low. Spaghetti was first to go down. Next target would be SNK. They're just going to allow Kraken to just push on. Boy would be in SNK's, but Chingy manages to TP back, and they are going to go for that Kraken, who actually managed to push one turret down. Kraken might actually be able to take the second turret down as well. But I think Chingy and Gang would just clear the Kraken up fine.
That was a good fight from Popeyes there. They just need to wait for it. Went out on box pretty early on, so they couldn't block the Atlas Pauldron. Kraken not quite getting this turret, almost able to do it. But then Spaghetti did a lovely core collapse, but Koshka also did a lovely block to make sure she could keep diving in. The Holy Node from Grace was on point to heal Koshka up, and Spaghetti without any defense fell quite quickly to this Koshka and to the box, and then Bingo almost managed to survive. But there's nowhere near as much sustain from SNK as there is from Grace. So Koshka can dive in. She's got the defense to be able to sustain through the fights. And Echo on Catherine now picked up. I'd expect Shattered Glass on Grace quite soon. Can't quite get it. Gonna get some flares actually. And yeah, Uni just backing off. Doesn't want to go too extended. And now we're gonna wait for Spaghetti to poke before Infamous wants to fight.
Yeah, just look at Uni's build alone as this Ringo. He's actually not opting for the double turret Monaco. Instead, he's just going for the breaking point, Shiver Steel, and then, of course, that tension bow that's expected from all the weapon carries out there at this point in time. So, and just looking at Spaghetti, I think what went wrong in that previous fight was really just Chingy just decided, or rather, side of Popeyes just decided that Chingy, Spaghetti was a bigger threat, was a much bigger threat as compared to that of Uni, and just decided, they should take Spaghetti down first, and that was what they did, and they were really successful with it anyways.
Bingo's going for the back door. There is no vision at all. Bingo's going to be spotted by the minions, so he's probably going to use his boost. There's journey boost from Bingo, and Catherine is stopping them rotating. Bingo's going to take this turret down pretty soon. Shingy knows, and the turret will fall. He's in damage to Celeste, but that's the exact kill of Celeste. Once Bingo's just on the vein, and Bingo's no one's going to port. Uni with the back door, going to easily win the game. Well played.
That game! What is this that we're watching?
So who needs to win the team fights? Just take the turrets by yourself, Bingo. Well played.
What is this? When I saw Uni, so my camera is focused on Uni, yeah? So I saw Uni just going up, ignoring what the team is doing at the bottom, and this was the same exact thing that Uni pulled out in the early game when they were fighting. They had this tussle in the jungle, and then he just decided turret is more important for me, and Uni just went for the turret, and it's the same thing for
Ringo push lane.
Yes, exactly. The Ringo push lane, Ringo push Crystal, Ringo pushed everything. Just don't come and fight. And we saw earlier on, it's just that Uni just do not have any substantial reasons to be in fight at all. It's just the amount of damage that it's outputting, just not that much. A lot of damage is coming out from Spaghetti, so I do understand the team decision when they say, Uni, you know what, just go push the turret, just go backdoor the hell out of them. And that was what they did.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that was Uni's decision. I don't think that was the team's decision. I think Uni went, I'm going to backdoor, you guys just bait them. And then he went, because Uni loves to just push turrets when he can, and yeah, it was well played, and it's always nice to see a backdoor, even though they probably could have won the team fight anyway. Ringo decided that it's more fun to do this, and we are actually going to be streaming the third round between these two teams. So we are going to see the third game between Popeyes and Infamous, and the winner of that will go into the final at the end of today. What are you expecting for this third game? Do you think they're going to ban away the Celeste, or are they going to let Spaghetti get it again? Because we saw the powerhouse that Spaghetti is on Celeste.
Yeah,
that's a priority ban.
We definitely did see it, and I hope that Popeyes will actually ban out this Celeste for Spaghetti. But then for both drops that we actually saw, they actually prioritized their bans on that of Baron and Taka for Popeyes. So I'm not surprised if the side of Popeyes are actually just going to fall back on their old drafting, just taking out that Baron, taking out that Taka. But honestly, I really hope. I mean, Spaghetti put up a really good showing, and it was really outstanding play on the Celeste as well. Just disallowing any form of engage or advancement from Koshka alone is just a big threat to Popeyes, and Popeyes is almost just using and just rely on this Koshka for the early game, just allowing their laner to farm up for the late game. So I think the side of Popeyes, if they are going to look through and go through this third draft, they should actually just try to ban out this Celeste. But then again, banning this Celeste out would actually quite open Baron up for the side of Infamous. So I think the side of Popeyes would actually be in a dilemma right now. But then again, if they actually ban out that of Celeste and they can allow Infamous to pick up that Baron, then Chingy can do what Chingy does best with the Koshka and just lay on early game pressure on Baron in lane. So, honestly, the smarter decision would actually be to ban out Celeste and then play Koshka like how Chingy has been playing Koshka like that of first round, and just put on pressure instead of jungle, put it in lane.
Yeah, I think that would make a lot of sense if they do want to do lane pressure against the Baron, but I don't think Koshka should be played. I don't think they should play Koshka again. They did it well in the first game, but now Infamous know how to counter it. They know how they will rotate really well, and they'll go as 3-man in the jungle in the early game. And if they don't go in 3-man in jungle, they'll push turrets. I think Koshka worked in the first game. I don't think it'll work in this one. But without further ado, the draft is ready, so we are going to go into the draft. Start that one away from you, Luxuria.
So we are going into the draft. I'm just looking for the draft lobby. I'm into the draft. The side of Popeye is actually taking time to actually pick out their first ban. I'm not surprised at all if they actually did go for the Celeste ban, like we were talking about earlier on. Spaghetti on the Celeste was just putting out so much pressure in that of the early game, and even in the early game, and put up just more pressure in the late game. So honestly,
no, they're going to go the same bans. They're going to ban Baron, and I think they probably will ban Taka. They shouldn't. They should get rid of that Celeste, because Celeste isn't going to be first picked. It's just not. It's not a hero you first pick. But maybe they're actually thinking they can pick Celeste themselves if they don't ban it. So that could be their strategy. Grace, Lyra ban. We've seen Popeyes pick Vox every time first pick. It's risky. Yeah. Vox again. They can counter it. They know Ringo is really good for Vox. Obviously, Idris, as we know, is good into Vox. They shouldn't pick it first because that'll be expected. They should go something that maybe Infamous aren't expecting. Like Grace would be a good first pick here, because Grace hasn't got many counters. Grace is countered by being with the teams she doesn't want. But no, they're going to go the same draft. They want their Vox. They don't want it to be banned away from them, so they're going to pick it up. Clearly very comfortable on Vox.
Yep, clearly they are. Rather, Aeon is really comfortable on his Vox and just want to pick up Vox. I mean, Vox put up a decent play in that second game, in that first game between Popeyes and Infamous. But then again, in the second game, we kind of fall out when Koshka couldn't put on that early game pressure that Koshka did in the first game. So, I mean, Vox isn't a bad pickup, but then with you like the side of Popeyes has been going on and just falling through the draft like that of first and second, and Infamous already knew that you are going to pick up these few heroes, and they were just going to learn, and they are going to adapt, and they're just going to counter you really hard. Like in the previous game, they actually picked up Spaghetti actually picked up that Celeste to just counter that Koshka, and even just picking up Ringo just to counter Fox in the later game.
Yeah, and they're going to ban away the Koshka. That's what you need to do. I thought they shouldn't pick it, but they're not going to now. So that's the Lyra and Koshka banned away from the format. Yeah, same man again. They just want to get rid of Baron Saka. They've got the draft. Popeyes have got the draft they want in their head, and they clearly think that their execution is good enough that they don't need to ban differently in each game. They can just do the same, and even though Infamous will be expecting it and will know exactly what to do against it, they can still win the draft. So Catherine picked up probably as a premature Grace counter, expecting a Grace to be picked up. Catherine obviously really good into that. Sky is still open, so that's a good Catherine counter. As Koshka's been banned, they can't pick Jungle Koshka. They might pick Sky here actually. Do you think they will?
Yeah, I mean, Sky going into that of Catherine is a really good pick. But then again, I haven't quite seen Chingy played a lot of Sky for this few series that I've casted or watched. So I'm not sure if Chingy would actually go for that Sky. But then Sky will be an intelligent pickup going up against this Catherine, especially when your forward barrages nullify the use of the Storm Guard anyways, which is one of the biggest biggest selling point of Catherine's kit, other than the team-wide silence and the really reliable stun from Merciless Pursuit. So we are going to see again, Spaghetti is going to go on that Celeste again, and then Spaghetti on the Celeste just gives so much problem to that side of Team Popeyes.
Yeah, I think the Popeyes wanted to not ban the Celeste. They wanted to keep their own bans, and I think they probably wanted to pick Celeste now in the second pick phase of Team A. But because Spaghetti is so comfortable, she's basically saying, I can't be countered. You can't counter my Celeste. I'm too good. So they're going to they're going to second pick it on Team B. They probably knew that they weren't going to ban Celeste. They were going to ban Taka, and so again a great counter to Celeste. And so Spaghetti is happy to pick that up, and obviously it can be flexed into the lane. You can go lane Celeste, and you can go jungle Celeste. So it's not a bad pick. It's not like if you picked up someone that's like a Koshka where you have to put that in the jungle. They're picking up Celeste. They can flex it a little bit, and I like that from Infamous. They're going for the comfort picks, and they're going to try and counter with that last pick they've got.
Yep, definitely. I mean, although Celeste being placed in late is not quite meta because Celeste really needs that level. But then again, being so comfortable on Celeste, honestly, you can play Celeste Roma and you could probably still win. Anyway, we are seeing an Arden being picked up on the side of Popeyes. Arden is a rather clever pickup. Just creating the space with the gauntlet and that, just putting up that arena that, you force your opponent to fight in or fight outside of, and just give a lot of mobility on top of whatever mobility that Vox actually has, and just increase the escapability of your heroes itself. It's quite a strong point of Arden. But then again, with Catherine pickup, I personally do not like picking up an Arden going to Catherine, because really good Catherines can stun your gauntlet up, even if you actually do pick up an Echo. But then honestly, I think Catherine is a bigger, or rather a better Roma as compared to that of Arden, especially when they have a double stun comp. So instead of Arden pickup as a Roma, I was thinking Grace or Lance, although Grace didn't put up a really good showing in the previous fight, but then in previous match. But then there were a few times when there were a lot of clutch divine intervention, clutch intervention coming out from that Grace alone. Although there is a Catherine being picked up, but then again, so they are going to sandwich the carry. They are going to just protect the Vox and just allow Vox to do a lot of damage. And with picking up Glaive to round off their comp and just to protect this Vox.
I think the fact they picked Glaive was really smart, because Glaive, I think the Infamous should have picked Glaive here. Should have gone Weapon Glaive, because then they get the triple stun comp, and that's so hard to play against. You basically have to pick a block at level 2, because they can gank you and kill you at level 2 if they want gone Celeste Glaive. So smart to pick the Glaive away from Infamous. I don't think they really wanted Crystal Glaive, which is almost definitely going to be that Stormcloud Aftershock. It's not that useful. It means Celeste doesn't have to build defense on you. You can just go full glass cannon against the Glaive, maybe get a bit of defense on Vox. But I think they basically picked that away from the Celeste. There were still stun heroes they could go. They could go Jewel. We haven't seen that in years. But I think the Glaive's smart, because he is the main weapon powered jungler that has a stun. So they've got rid of the triple stun comp. They could go. They don't seem to be too comfortable on Idris after it didn't win the first game. But again, that would make a lot of sense against this Vox.
Yeah, definitely. I'm actually looking forward to an Idris being picked up. There you go. Like you said, although they do not seem really comfortable on this Idris, but then again, it was Spaghetti that's playing, and hopefully Spaghetti will be on this Celeste for this game, and then Uni will be on that Idris. Hopefully, we don't see any backdoor coming out from Uni this time.
Oh, you got to hope for the backdoor. It's always fun.
It is always fun. It is always fun, and
unless you get backdoored yourself.
Yeah,
then
there you go.
Like, oh, we should have bought some vision, shouldn't I? Oh well.
But anyways, we are going to see a comp. That I think personally, I really like the comp from the side of Popeyes, because Vox is a really good carry overall, and if you can actually successfully peel for Vox, then of course in a later game, he's going to be able to dish out a lot of damage. But then again, just the CCs alone coming out from Infamous, it's just, I like the team comp on the side of Popeyes, but then the side of Infamous just have got such stronger team comp as compared to that of Popeyes, especially with the Catherine, Merciless Pursuit, and just a team-wide silence, and then of course a team-wide stun coming out from Core Collapse on Celeste, and then the ability to dive in and then just be on top of Vox as an Idris is just insane coming out from the side of Infamous. So honestly, if I want to say that I like a team comp, it would be that of Popeyes, but the stronger, more superior team comp would definitely be that of from Infamous. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the comfort pick Celeste on Spaghetti is going to be so good. I think Glaive's a good hero, and Glaive can afterburn Idris away from Vox as a Crystal Glaive. That's what he'll be doing. But if he can try and afterburn Celeste on top of Vox, but then Idris will dive Vox, and Celeste is just going to be, okay, I'm now next to Vox. Oh well, I'll just land a Helio Core Collapse Supernova while Idris kills him, and then Glaive once they've killed it with Vox, that's it. Glaive can't do anything. Arden can't do anything. Whereas if you kill Idris, you still have to worry about Celeste. If you kill Celeste, you have to worry about Idris. They're both heroes that can pull off 2v3s. If your whole team is available, the whole team is still alive, and they're with their captain, they can still do it if you're quite low health. Idris, if he finishes off that box quite quickly with a Shroud Step, Chakram Ultimate, and can kill Vox, then he doesn't have to worry about Glaive. He can just dive in on him, and Glaive has to have to run away. So it's a really good composition for Infamous. But again, Spaghetti needs to not get caught out on this Celeste in the early game. Should be fine against a Crystal Glaive. And Idris again needs to not lose against Vox in the early game and not get ganked by Glaive too much. He can die a couple of times, but if Idris really is stuck behind on farm because Glaive keeps killing him, then they could be in a horrible position.
Yep, definitely. I do agree with you on that. But we saw earlier on, although there is a Koshka or there is really early invades coming out from the side of Popeyes, but then Infamous's rotation, they just have really good quality rotations coming out from the side of Infamous. They just decided to 3-man rotate down, and even if they do not 3-man rotate down, then of course they want to score another objectives as well. So honestly, just execution-wise, it's really just down to execution, whether or not Chingy and Tezaboy can protect their carry as Aeon, because we are definitely sure that just Chingy alone would be going for the utility glaive build with the Storm Crown Aftershock, like you said, or maybe even just a one-hit glaive, which we see really often, Storm Crown Aftershock, and then probably into that of Tension Bow, or even Tension Bow as a first pickup item, because it's just the initial burst that is provided by glaive after and afterburn is just insane. So Spaghetti on Celeste and Idris are both really squishy heroes, and then you are just counting on your sheer damage, just out damage and outscale that side of Popeyes, and from that it's your best defense, because if you do actually manage to out damage them, then they can't survive and fold for long. So that is your best form of defense. Whereas the side of Popeyes, they are just so tanky, especially Chingy on this glaive, and then you have an Arden, and of course you have the sustained box going for the Tension Bow into a Poison Shift, or maybe even a Poison Shift first into a Tension Bow and then a Breaking Point. So the amount of sustain coming out from the side of Popeyes is just insane. It is just whether or not you can shred down the armor and just shred down the entirety of Popeyes in a later game as a Celeste and Idris.
Yeah, I think Glaive may have just got that weapon blade for an extra bit of clear speed. Uni not going to get caught out. There's the boost from Glaive, and that will be Uni being offered towards his teammate. Glaive going to pick up this kill, and yep, that's first blood going over to Glaive. Uni probably not out positioned. You could see there were 3 minions, two small ones and 1 big minion that Uni really wanted to get before he backed off. But with the boots on Glaive, means that he was ever so slightly out of position. Spaghetti will just clear that wave, so the gold is not lost. And it is going to be a Tension Bow aftershock build on Glaive. I think that's smart. I think the fact not going just full cooldown like Storm Crown, then aftershock and maybe a Clockwork is smart, because you're going to go against the Celeste, who's not going to build defense. It's just not how Spaghetti plays. You know that. It's not how most Celeste plays anyway. And so the fact that this on-hit build will do damage, will do a similar amount of damage once he's built it, even once Spaghetti hits level 12, that will still do a very similar amount of damage and will burst Celeste down if Glaive manages to land the afterburn onto her. So then Spaghetti's going to be in a tough position. He's either going to have to trust his positioning to not get hit by the afterburn, or have to build defense, which is not where he wants to be. So yeah, I think tension bow first. If you're going to go for the on-hit build, always go tension bow first. It does the most damage in the early game compared to Aftershock or Storm Crown. So you should almost always pick up that as for the on-hit build. And that's going to be Aeon going to get not quite stunned up there, but soon going to land on Tesla instead. There's the collapse. That's the double stun. No triple stun from Uni. That's the gank from Infamous. There's lots of gank potential from both teams. The double stun from Infamous and the afterburn from Glaive. Means that both laners are just going to be so careful that a CS might suffer, but they're definitely going to try and make sure they don't get caught out, and that's a little bit more important.
Yep, definitely. I mean, the CS coming out from the side of Aeon is so much better as compared to that of Uni. Uni is sitting at 19 CS, although there are 3 other minions on, in lane for Uni to pick up. But Aeon is actually sitting at a comfortable 29, 30 CS in 3 minutes in. So, Aeon is definitely like, you say gank potential from both teams is actually good, but then I just personally think that, with a Glaive, you just have got so much stronger. You have got such strong, much stronger gank potential. Although you have double stun coming up from the side of Infamous, it's just that you do not have the ability to punt someone into a team of 3 and just disable you for really long periods of time. Because I mean, if SNK do actually go in with this Catherine, then SNK risk himself being taken down really quickly as well, because Catherine do actually have to go through 2 walls, 2 really thick walls on the side of Popeyes. Like there is like Chingy, and there is like Tezza Boy, who is just gonna protect Aeon and just gonna peel for Aeon. So if SNK do actually go in, SNK do actually risk being taken down before she could land her merciless pursuit.
Yeah, and this is Uni. He knows that he can't really contest the farm in the early game. If he went to try and farm up the wave, he'd just die because he knows Glaive is probably there trying to kill him. So he just has to try and farm with the Chakram. It's not easy to do. You can get a double shot on some of the minions, but even then, you might hit minions you don't want to, and then you're going to lose some CS. And there's Glaive. She's going to boost in. Uni's going to get after him, but Sketty is here at level 6. That's a lovely walk down and a solar storm. Chingy is all that's going to fall. That's basic stat will not quite pick up the kill. Fountain Bush is fantastic by Tezza Boy to keep that Glaive alive, and that was a good gank from Chingy, but a great rotation from Celeste, just knowing that Glaive's going to come up. I'll leave my jungle for now, I'll get it after. I need to keep Uni alive.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Uni is seeing it deep in his CS, with Aeon being 12 up on Uni. So, and we all know before Idris actually unlocks his divergent path, his weapon divergent path, he's kind of useless per se. I mean, just a blink alone, from a roll becoming a blink for his Shroud Step is just insane, and it's almost like a quote-unquote power spike for Idris at least. And yeah, so it is Uni has got to farm up. Uni is sitting at 2.8, close to 3,000 to get the Sorrow Blade to just unlock the first divergent path. So honestly, before that, I don't think Uni. He actually picked up his Sorrow Blade already. 5 minutes in, not the best item pickup timing. I mean, just look at Aeon and looking at Chingy. Chingy has got the Tension Bow into an Eclipse Prism, probably going in for the Aftershock. Just 6 minutes in, so Chingy's power spike has already been
Spaghetti's being caught out. Use the core collapse on the minions. That's not what you want to do. Shingy and Aeon rotating down through Celeste jungle so that the Crystal Sentry didn't spot them out until they were already on top of Celeste. That'll be 1 Crystal Sentry life falling immediately, and Uni's going to rotate to the back. It's very smart. I don't think he was known about. Box is going to go up to lane, and Glaive's taking the back to Celeste, so that is a even trade. You're going to get the backs, and he's actually going to port home. He doesn't want to risk getting the back too, just going to get the heal because he thinks someone was rotating to them. So that's going to not quite catch Glaive out. He will successfully port home, and that was a good fight from Popeyes. They saw Celeste, possibly saw Celeste using the core collapse on the minions, and then went, right, we can use this to engage on her. And Uni only got one back heal, so definitely better for Popeyes and Infamous.
Yep, definitely. I mean, Popeyes is playing to the best extent of their team comp. Chingy's either in lane, just putting pressure like he will be as a Koshka, and also as a Glaive. I mean, he knows that with a Tension Bow pickup, he's so much stronger than a lot of other heroes out there on the fold, and that is why he started being really aggressive. Like now, we are seeing Chingy actually just going up to lane, trying to look for a gang, probably just just looking for Uni's blood, and Uni just
he's used round step in. He's gonna Super Strike away, and then somehow they got no crucible for that. He did block a little bit late. He did never block actually. He didn't He didn't block himself out the gauntlet. But yeah, he's round stepped in to try and get that. And that's a lovely afterburn from Glaive onto Spaghetti. Spaghetti's out of but a good core collapse isn't going to be enough. SNK moving away, but that'll be the ace for Popeyes. Shingy was level 7 while Celeste was level 8, but he just was rotating up the lane so much he stopped Idris being able to farm up as he wanted to. We saw Idris, as soon as he wanted to try and shroud step for farm, that's what he was doing. He wasn't probably trying to poke box, he just wanted to secure a last hit. Shingy was there, so was Celeste, but Shingy just landed the afterburn, and then Uni dies, and that was the Solar Storm. Not quite going to seal the goal, but it was very close from Celeste. So yeah, she Solar Storm almost at the right time, but not quite. And yeah, Aftershock now picked up for Glaive. It's a big power spike. Popeyes, they really want to fight, while Infamous just don't really want to fight yet. Spaghetti still only with that Eve of Harvest, hasn't picked up the Broken Myth yet, so just needs to farm up and doesn't really want to fight at this point, and they need to not get caught out by the Afterburn. It's really hard. It just has such a tough time farming as it is, and with the Glaive constantly being a threat, he's in a little bit of trouble and needs to just wait basically.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing about an on-hit build, on any heroes at least, it's that, it's a really cheap build to actually pull off. And the amount of damage it comes out from Tension Bow and Aftershock is just insane. And on top of that, it's just really, really cheap, like I said earlier on. So, just Chingy alone on this Glaive has got so much damage in the early game and could actually force and be played like Koshka at least, because the gank potential is one thing, right? Chingy has got similar gank potential as on Glaive as of Koshka, and then and one more thing is that they have the early game as well because of how cheap Tension Bow and Aftershock is as items and amount of burst they actually provide in that of an early game. But anyways, Popeyes actually do take out the second sentry on the side of Infamous. One more sentry, and probably, the jungle would belong to them already. They have full reign of the jungle. Uni might actually be caught out right now. Oh, Afterburn's in, but actually misses. Punch scattering away. They might actually be looking for a fight. Celeste is just dropping stars here and there, just trying to zone the side of Popeyes out. Aeon is going in really deep.
That's a good gauntlet, but it's not quite going to stun up Uni. I really like the fact that Popeyes are focusing on the sentry. As you said, the second life has gone for the sentry, so that means Celeste is going to be so much more worried about her jungle. If they do get that third life, sentry not quite back yet. But once Popeyes get that third life in the sentry, I'm going to hold that for him because Shingy's going to go in off, but he's going to get stunned out by Catherine. What a first thing to do. I think she'll say she meant it. SNK will say that you meant to stun Glaive out the afterburn there, but Glaive's just going to back off, can't do anything without that afterburn, and Shingy's going to be spotted out. Afterburn back towards his turret and be okay. And Box actually going towards the jungle while Celeste is going to just fight and Lakers are going to be forced to use the fountain. Box only going to take them in and now rotate back to try and help stop this turret. Spaghetti going to do as much damage as he can. Shingy just checking where Glaive is, and Spaghetti going to back off. 2 low on energy. Uni going to build that poison shift, then work towards the tension bow. So a nice power spike for him, having that unlocked. But Celeste still only with the Eve of Harvest, just needs to farm up these backs and needs that crystal sentry to stay there, because if he loses that sentry, then his farm will just be taken by Glaive so much easier.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just look at the builds alone. Spaghetti is, like you said, just sitting on the Eve of Harvest, probably going in for the Broken Myth at this point in time. Actually, just not even a Broken Myth, just building that piercing shot. So, honestly, not even enough for a Broken Myth. I think Spaghetti needs like $300 more, 300 gold more for that Broken Myth. Whereas on Glaive, he is actually on his way to building into a Storm Crown. So that is so much more burst coming out from Glaive. And it's just so economical, this particular build coming out from Chingy, and the amount of damage he can output. But then I'd like to see that Popeyes actually put in more pressure, just allowing, like when Popeyes is actually playing on, or rather when Chingy is actually playing on the Koshka in that first game, when he could put on so much pressure in the early game, and just allowing Infamous to actually come back up. So honestly, Chingy on this Glaive, he can actually apply the same amount of pressure as with Aeon. I mean, Aeon can just poke from the back lines, and like I said earlier on before the match started, is that if Uni and Spaghetti has to get into the back lines for Aeon, they have to go through Chingy first. The burst coming out from Chingy, and of course Tezza Boy that's doing a perfect job protecting this Aeon.
Yeah, Aeon now getting some poke onto Uni, so he can't get the barrier when he shroud steps, but Uni taking that to just back right off. He knows Aeon's going to push the wave in. He can happily farm next to his tier 2 turret. And yeah, Popeye's just backing off. Glaive now with that Stormguard banner. He's almost got the Storm Cone, so he's almost fully built on terms of on-hit damage, which is weird to say 12 minutes in. Because Glaive's build's just so cheap, he's picked up that infusion. Uni going to try and rotate, and he's just turned Port home to shop. He's just going to shroud step away and will shop. I think he can put Potential Bow straight away, and he does get it with 250 gold spare. So that's a good power spike for Idris. He's got his 3 damage items. I wouldn't expect to see 4 in this game. I think he's going to go for an Atlas or a Metal Jacket on Aeon. And maybe even sell his reflex block if he really wants to get that 4th damage item. Gauntlet used, and that's going to stun up Uni. He did not block it, and that's the afterburn from Glaive. Uni trying to shroud step in, but yeah, as soon as Boy blood for blood on SNK didn't quite stop him from porting home, immediate Gauntlet just trap out Uni. He knows that the captain isn't there, the fountain isn't there. They're going to try and seize this turret. It's less than good wave clear. Maybe able to clear the wave before the turret falls. And yeah, by not quite getting it. Lovely double stun, but it is blocked by Aeon. Lifting the boots away. Shingy not even low from that Healing Genesis explosion.
Yeah, I mean, Chingy is generally really tanky, and also from the sustain from his ultimate is just insane. Oh, Chingy is still going in. Chingy might look to back off right now with Uni back onto the foe. So the side of Popeyes, they are just pulling out, this kind of cheap team comps. Especially in the first game when we actually saw Koshka going for an aftershock into a broken myth and then full defense. It is almost like that of Chingy at this point in time, just going in for the really cheap build like that of aftershock and attention ball aftershock, which is really cheap early game items and providing a lot of burst, especially that against Celeste in jungle when Celeste has needs like a Eve of Harvest, a broken myth, and if Celeste actually starts to build very early game defense, then her damage kind of falls off. And the side of Popeyes just knew this, and they took full advantage of that. Just looking at KD alone, Popeyes is sitting at 6 kills to none, and goal difference, it is close to 7,000.
Yeah, they're definitely playing well, Popeyes. They've got the early game lead, and they're going to try and push it now. There's Tension Bow, Cock on both Aeon and Shingy, but they're not going to be able to get anything. SNK going to get after and away before he can Mercer's Pursuit. Spaghetti needs the poke from the backline. He's now got Eve Harvest and Broken Myth. That's really good for Spaghetti. He is even on CS with Glaive, as kind of expect, and obviously it's just a little bit behind Vox. I think Vox may have... It's actually been farming really well in this lane. Vox on 175 CS already. And so, yeah, Uni just needs to keep going. It's nearly there, nearly fully built. And once Uni gets fully built, that pretty much counters the on-hit Glaive. Because, as you said, the main power spike behind this on-hit Glaive is the fact that the items are so cheap, you can get fully built really quickly. But if the enemy is fully built, then you've basically got no advantage. You've actually got a disadvantage because they have way more damage. And this is not good. Uni had to go towards the enemy jungle. Otherwise, I don't think they knew that. So the Infamous are going to be able to back off from that, even though they weren't in a good position. Glaive going afterburn, not going to find Uni. But they are going to start up this Kraken. Do you think there'll be any contest from Spaghetti? I think the Sunstorm might come out if he gets a little bit of vision. Do you think it'll be worth it?
Yeah, I mean the side of Infamous, they do actually have the damage at this point in time. I mean, if they are going to contest this Kraken, and Solar Flare came out and it was a little too late. That was reference.
Solar Storm used from Celeste, but and the Blast Tremor from Captain. That was a smart Blast Tremor just to make sure that even if it did secure the Kraken, it stopped any re-engage from Glaive, because Glaive can't afterburn when he's silenced. So if they tried to catch out SNK from using that afterburn, from using that Blast Tremor, it would have been fine because they were silenced. So it didn't quite steal the Kraken, but it got close, and this will be probably a 2 Kraken push. I doubt Popeyes will actually do much. They probably won't even fight. They'll just let the Kraken push in the second turret, and they'll be happy with the 2 turret Kraken.
Oh wow, I mean, just look at the landmine coming out from Spaghetti on this Celeste.
And that's going to be good. He used double stun on Spaghetti, and Uni is going to be in the middle of the fight. He's going to have to use Shimmer Strike onto Aeon. He's actually going to fall, so I was wrong. Popeyes do want to fight. They're going to get a kill onto Uni, and now they're going to try and push this Kraken through. She's quite healthy compared to what I thought she might have been. They're actually going to have lovely Blast Tremor, silence up, and the Solar Storm hit the Kraken, not quite going to hit Aeon on the box. Fox still Atlas, but Shingy doing so much damage on Celeste. That's another kill for Glaive. Shingy is impressive, and Kraken is probably going to fall here. Actually, SNK is going to try and get the kill on Shingy, but as he's doing that, Aeon's getting the turrets. SNK, what are you doing? That's going to be the game for Popeyes unless you need to do anything about it. He's going to get Atlas by the Arden, and that will be Aeon getting the Vayne.
Oh, wow.
But just Aeon did uni things and just say, I don't need to fight, I'm going to take turrets and take the Vayne and win the game. Well played, Popeyes. They win that 2-1.
Well played indeed, and this is going back to in VG spring season. Actually, Popeyes actually won Infamous in a best of 5, 3-2, and Popeyes yet again showing, you know, to all the teams out there that's in the Challenger series that even a Challenger team can come so far, can, you know, and just perform that well.